I'm Jonasz Rewiński and you're watching TVP World Talks, where every word matters. All right, we've all heard of the Iron Curtain, but how about a Silicon Curtain? Following the latest decision of the outgoing US administration, it would seem that just such a curtain has descended upon Europe, and ironically, it seems to mirror the old one in terms of geography. With exports of high-tech NVIDIA chips to much of Central and Eastern Europe about to face significant restrictions, the aggrieved countries are angry at the perceived injustice. The European Union is puzzled at its unexpected bisection, and experts are scratching their heads at the ramifications of this latest move. Joining us now is Paweł Kowalski, lecturer at the SWPS University. Hello and welcome to TVP World.
Hello, welcome. How are you?
So, Poland has already stated that it is rather surprised by this decision. And it is not alone in that many countries of Central and Eastern Europe have faced a similar fate, according to this latest decision by the Biden administration. What do you make of that? Should these countries, and many other across the world, be protesting at this stage? Do they have a compelling argument?
Well, it was kind of surprising for the countries that they have no previous information about what is going to happen, so that significantly create any kind of doubts, because it was not discussed with them. Although, if we take a look on the map, we can see that there is some reasons coming out of this, and if we put on the side the emotions, we may see that the decisions made by the U.S. government is strictly based on partially safety. As you can see, none of the countries that are bordering, for example, Russia, are being given, because it's not only the Poland, but it's the countries also high developed like Estonia. They were not given also the access for this chips. So at some point there are much more reasons than just the dividing the Europe or the world in the new Silicon Curtain, but there are some more reasons. If we look
I may,
on this,
one may say, for example, that with India, which trades routinely with Russia and China, this could be a very compelling argument that we want to restrict the exports of these chips because they could make their way into countries covered by sanctions. Same goes, say, for Central Asia. But countries like the Baltics or Poland, well, they have placed much more restrictions when it comes to the question of trade with Russia, sometimes curtailing it altogether. So would you say that this perhaps is a bit puzzling, given that, for example, when it comes to security, countries of Central and Eastern Europe are often praised for spending a lot on defense in terms of the whole NATO debate?
Yes.
So why does this decision seem to go directly the other way?
Yes, if you know, in European Union we got the free movement of goods, so these goods actually can travel from one country to another.
That's another thing, isn't it?
Yeah, so from this point, it's kind of surprising. Also, you know, in Europe, we can say we share everything. So there should not be the things that like happens like here. Although, if we still look, I'll try, you know, to balance the emotions, because also I was surprised because I'm a huge AI fan and I'm much into this this technology. I try to reach also what could be the other decisions. So the other decisions also are like, there are no big AI centers right now in those countries. So maybe in future it will somehow change. And also, it will not stop development or the science, because what was also in the document is that the orders below 1,700 made by universities, by biocenters, by medical centers, are not counting into those limits. So the research centers, the universities will have, we may say, a free access to this, because it's hardly to believe that most of them will need like more than 1,700 GPUs per one order. And these 1,700 orders are not including into those 50 or 100,000 GPUs limits.
Okay, but why do certain commentators say, For example, if you want supercomputers, forget it. This is not going to be enough. One expert said that one of the major big tech companies alone has ordered the amount of GPUs which exceeds the limit that Poland has by a large magnitude. So would that perhaps mean that in the short term, it's going to be okay, but if we want to build our own IT centers focusing on AI, this is not going to happen?
Yes, and that's gonna to be handled somehow with the European Union. I do believe that, because it came by surprise, that European Union will somehow answer to this and will try to make this even. Although most of the Western countries, most of the Western world countries, as we called them years ago, are given the quantities without limitation, because, as you said, the countries from this tier 2, tier second, they got like 50 to 100,000 with the possibility to make it up to 320,000 per order are here. But the blue countries, these countries got unlimited access. So they can build their own supercomputers. Although I may say that, at least from Poland, we are not even close right now to make a build. So at this point, as you said, it may not hurt us very much, but in the future, of course, it should be discussed and changed. And I do believe that the European Union, in this case, will find a solution for this.
And can you explain why specific countries would like to build their own AI centers? Like, for the layman, they might say, oh, I can access ChatGPT from anywhere in the world. Why would anyone need a separate AI center for their own purposes? So can you explain the rationale here?
Sure. AI is changing the world, as you can see. As we can see, there is a lot of investment. Well, it's the largest part of the new part of the technology area that is invested so fast, and the own artificial intelligence systems are needed for the security, for the own train, because of course what you said, like ChatGPT, is like one large language model, but AI is much more than just language model. They are agents. They can do a lot of things. These are a lot entities that can create a lot of stuff, a lot of work for us, and also can build a safety. Although that if they will be trained in a bad way, in a way that is not wanted by most of the people, it can also be a danger. So I think that the United States, the government, they may want to somehow balance it. But from the point of view of every country right now, maximum access and investments in AI is an assurance of the future growth. So those countries that will not enter this quite fast will be at some point left behind by those countries who will be doing this. So that creates a huge economical and technological gap between the countries. So for the future, it may create a new shape of the world, as you said.
Do you think this is going to be exacerbated by the further steps which are already talked about in scientific centers, like the development of artificial general intelligence and further down the line superintelligence? Would that mean that certain countries will have access to it and other countries will never be able to take those steps into this, bright technological future as we
yeah. In many places, yes, you're right, because it's like the rich will get richer even faster. So the wise will get wiser even faster in this case, because those countries with the unlimited access, they can have like their models trained very much, and they are gaining the experience, and that's one of the most important things. So that's the experience that those countries who have no full access will be lacking. Although, as I said, there are no still big AI centers in most of the countries in the yellow color. So I think that these countries also already waited too long. So we'll see, maybe if there'll be like one or two big center, we can have the another negotiations about the deal. But from the point of view of Poland and the European countries specifically, I would expect, as I said before, European Union to take part of this because, as I said, we got the free movement of goods, and I can't believe that it will be just stick to one country, but we'll see how it will be solved.
Now, the European Union has already expressed its puzzlement at this decision, which brings me to my next question. Do you think that diplomatic efforts could result in this decision being changed, amended, possibly even reversed by the Trump administration with respect to countries such as Poland?
Well, we can say a lot about the Trump, but we know that he's kind of a businessman at some point. So it can be also the deal. It will be on the table. We'll see what can be offered from the other side to make it all happen. So I do believe that it will be negotiated because it's needed to, not to create dividing between the European countries, not to divide them. So I do believe that right now, when Poland is in charge of the European Union for this half of the year, I do believe that this question will be raised immediately after the Trump election.
Do you think there are risks with this becoming transactional? It's a word that is often bandied about when talking about Donald Trump's approach, by which I mean, for example, Trump will say, okay, you're spending a lot on defense, you're a valuable ally, so we're going to give you access to these models, we're going to give you access to this technology, lift the limits, but also, for example, we would like one of our tech companies to become involved in this. Do you think that could happen, and what risks does it pose?
Well, I do believe that may happen, but what is most important for me, that it cannot be negotiated for one country or for the specific countries, but it needs to be created for the whole community. So once we'll have this access for the whole European Union, then we may, of course, because we are welcoming a lot of United States businesses, and they are welcome here as long as they are, of course, following the rules. So the need is to follow the rules. The need is just to follow the guidance, the competition rules of the European Union. So as long as they will be doing this, it's okay. Although we must remember that the countries that are paying most of the fines right now in the European Union for breaking the articles for overusing their dominant position are the US companies like Google, like Amazon, like Apple, or Intel, Microsoft. So yeah, we got this problem, and it's on the table.
Paweł Kowalski was our guest today here on TVP World. Thank you very much for joining us and for sharing your expertise.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And I'm Jonasz Rewiński. You're watching TVP World. Please stay with us for more latest news and updates.